So, how's everyone else been doing? Welcome back. We're going to get a little bit done here on the adventures of the Zebulon Harding. Awkward. Alright. When we last left this miss with a match debacle, we had Earl and Paladin had gotten back to Last Hope. That planet's name is feeling a little bit on the nose right now. And the ship had been done badly. The ship itself is in actually pretty good shape. But Kay is missing, probably because they've been abducted by... And when we tried to reactivate the ship, Zeb didn't recognize us. And pretty much greeted Earl in exactly the same way that they had greeted Earl when they first encountered each other back in episode 1, which I will point out was also the result of a miss with a match against double eights. So yeah, a lot of parallels both in and out of the game. Anyway, so yeah, we're left. We return to the scene with Earl just staring kind of blankly in horror at the the control panel here, the representation of Zeb, and then he turns and just immediately starts. He kind of I'm gonna say he kind of goes back here underneath one of the control panels and starts pulling out the panels, and Zeb is demanding to know what's going on, who they are. Paladin is kind of quietly asking Earl what he's doing, and all this other kind of stuff. And what I am going to do to address this, actually what I can do with this, Overseer is a module. So your AI module keeps walks over the vehicle systems and sensor data, so on and so forth. And you can actually just break the module straight up as one of the things. And that's what I'm going to do, not so much with the integrity of the ship, but the module itself being broken. It's very straightforward. And what I'm going to do here is Earl is going to attempt a repair in the field on this, knowing that he needs at least a few points here on this results to get where he wants to be on this fix. Hopefully, after what happened last time, he's made enough preparations here in anticipation of this that he can fix what's gone wrong here. So we're going to take a look at this, and I am going to roll repair. Now I have a few things in my arsenal, I think, for assets to help me with this. So when I am moving to make a move to repair equipment or tech, I get to add 1 and take +1 momentum on a hit. And I think that's the main one that I can use on this one. So I'm gonna roll repair, and just immediately. So to set the scene here, Earl is definitely not calm about this at all, and he's really tearing into this thing just kind of frantically. In my mind, Earl is he needs Zeb to be okay, to be better. He can't. Everything, Kay is already missing. He can't have Zeb gone too. So this is definitely something that needs to happen. So he's going to pull out all the stops on this. So again, going back over here to Earl and going back to the move for repair and digging around here, and Paladin's doing this stuff, and I'm like pulling a couple other things, doing some commands up on the screen, and then I'm grabbing some cables, and I'm pulling out some modules and kind of bringing them back online. What I'm expecting here is, trying basically to pull in a backup that's typically disconnected from the system, except under certain circumstances. So going to try a repair here and do a roll, making my own repairs, and I am taking a +1 on that roll, and we are out in the field. Let's take a look at this. And that is another miss with a match. That is awesome. That's fine, because that's fine. Take that in, folks. Miss with a match. So yeah, so Earl goes in underneath the counter, and he's basically checking the panels, looking underneath there. Everything seems to be intact. So he's doing all the commands and stuff, and he goes to pull up the backup, and the screen comes up with a big old box like right in the middle. Get the screen just like this, and no backups found. And he just kind of stares at it, and he's just sitting there, and Zeb just keeps talking and warning and doing all this other kind of stuff, and Paladin starts to say something. Is Earl? It's just not. No, fuck. Sorry, Zeb. And I shut everything down again, and I storm onto the bridge. And Paladin's coming out. He goes, "It's you can't. Where are you going?" They clearly hit the whole bridge with a massive EMP pulse, and it's everything up here with any kind of data integrity is just right. So Earl is heading back into engineering, and back amongst all of the engines and pipes and all the conduits and everything that's back up there, there's a couple of control consoles, and way back in there, a couple of big heavy. If you ever think of an extension cord, but one of those extension cords that ends with like 3 plugs, so it kind of comes out and big old tree kind of a thing, and it just clunks in stuff. But something like that, but something that clanks in. All the way back in there is heavy, overdone, super insulated cable that's like chunked into the side of this big old black box. That's clearly an aftermarket edition in that it's like just this huge matte black thing that's been like spot welded back into the corner, back in the engineering room, and kind of a hole cut through it for the cable to go in or mount to, and that's in there. And he goes, and I'm digging back at that thing, and I'm what was the freaking 5, 4, and I'm working the combination, like a little dial combination thing, and it's not even none of it's digital. It's a 5, 3, 3, 3. And I flip the thing, yank this thing down. Paladin's still, and he's kind of let this drop on, and I pull that open, and inside there's another data unit. And the way I'm thinking of it is the kind of data unit like that they recovered from Rogue One, from the data repository on the planet in Rogue One, like a big heavy looking thing that's just this big old, carry it by a handle. It's heavier than a briefcase and kind of carried the same way. And just yanking the whole thing up out of the box. What the hell is that? He goes, emergency backup. How long have you had that? Since the last time. And so this is all the way back in the engine room, away from anything that would have affected the bridge, and probably one of the most heavily shielded areas in the ship, just back where all this stuff is going on, in a bulletproof black box kind of a thing. And as he's going forward, he goes, the problem with this thing is the thing only ran every so often. It didn't back up constantly because it couldn't be connected constantly, but it would have run every time we came out of a jump, which means I'm not sure what it means. And he's lugging it back up, and kind of he's doing the thing where it's clearly a little heavy enough that he's got to kind of sling it around, but he's bringing it back up to the bridge to jury rig it into place. So what I am doing here, I'm starting to clobble this thing. I was like, why would you have done it? It's like, I didn't know what had caused him to lose his memory in the first place. I didn't want it to happen again. Much as I can, I just try to prepare for this kind of thing. You prepared for your ship to lose its memory back. Like, what? I'm glad you did. Yeah, I'm glad I did too. So what I am calling on here is basically is Earl's fugitive attribute, which we've already talked about. You're hunted by a power authority. You can rely on your resourcefulness to improve the results to a strong hit. If you do, mark a box to represent the hunters closing in on you. So I'm going to mark this box to represent the hunters closing in on me, because my fugitive instincts, the fact that I am used to things going badly, the fact that I'm used to being chased, that I'm used to things going wrong, and I prepare for it, is what helps me to turn this miss with the match into a strong hit instead. I really like this asset because you have to kind of weigh it. Like, sometimes it's just worth it to take the hit, but there are times when you just can't accept it. And this is one of those times where Earl's preparations can help and make sense to help. And more to the point, Earl's preparations seem like exactly the kind of thing he would have done to protect his friend. So we're going to check that box on fugitive and turn that result for repair into a strong hit, because that miss with a match can just pound sand. I am not interested in that particular result right now. Other days it might be interesting. Not back to back with another miss with a match. So on a strong hit, you gain repair on a hit. You gain repair points as appropriate to the situation per the table below. So we're in the field. and I got a strong hit. So that is 3 points of repair. And 3 points of repair let me fix one broken module for 2 points, and I can take +1 integrity on the ship, but I don't. It's not down any integrity right now, and I don't need it to need to repair any other device. So I've got 1 point just going unspent, which I'm not. That's fine. I don't care. The main thing is this. So I'm pulling this in, bringing it back in. The whole system's been shut down. Lock it all in place. Slap everything into place. Lock the cable in, and bring the system back up. Waiting, and basically I'm doing like an F12 or an F2 boot, and forcing the whole system to boot from a USB drive. But in this case, it's a USB drive the size of a fucking briefcase. And it pops up with restore backup, YN, yes. And keep in mind, this will override the default memory banks. Continue, yes. I roll this over, and I drop back kind of into one of the chairs here, and it's just kind of silent on the bridge for a little bit. And Paladin's like, how long is this going to be? And I'm like, it's all Zeb's memory. It's going to take a few hours. You got any sensors on that scout? And I'm going to try to figure out, while this is, we're going to cut to that, because this backup's going to take a while. We're going to cut to them kind of getting into this shuttle, pulling up the basic sensors that are on the shuttle, and seeing if we can figure out what happened to the where the Meridian people went. Okay. I've got a couple of thoughts on this, but first I want to see if I'm even going to get any information at all. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to roll gather information, see if I can learn anything. Repair does give me a +1. I will say, or not repair. My thing gives me a +1 momentum on a hit. I forced it to give me a hit, so at least I get a momentum. It gives me up to 4. Now we're going to do I think gather information. Search for clues, ask questions, analyze information, and I am going to roll. This is again just me going on wits, but I'm taking a +1 because I'm getting appropriate help from Paladin on this, because he is pretty good at surveilling these corporate folks, and we're going to find this out. So we're pulling up this and just seeing if we can figure out where the hell, if there's any telemetry, something like that might tell us where they might be headed. So first of all, can we even find anything out? And then we'll figure out what we found out if we got a decent hit. And that is a weak hit, which I will take. Man, the dice are definitely fighting me. I had a couple of sessions where the dice were very, very nice to me, and then they apparently came to their senses and realized what nonsense they were up to, and came back to kick me in the teeth. So that's fine. On a weak hit, the information provides new insight, but also complicates your quest. That's fine. Envision what you discover and take +1 momentum. That's fine. So let's envision what we discover. Let's find out. So under the oracles, the way I see it, there's a chance that they went straight back to the fleet that's surrounding the planet, Glimmer. They retreated straight back to the fleet, and there's a chance that they instead went to, they headed toward a precursor vault, because the precursor vaults are apparently having K or something like K around. They seem to think is going to allow more access, I guess, to these precursor vaults in some way, shape, or form. So I think that there's probably, they've got them right. They've got K right here. They've got precursor vaults right in the system, and I think there's no reason for them to retreat to the fleet and then go down. I feel like it's likely that they are headed for the precursor vaults, with a limited chance that they are, I guess, retreating to Meridian. If nothing else, they're going back to the fleet. So we're going to ask the Oracle. I'm saying the odds are likely that they are headed to the precursor vault. Does the Oracle agree? The Oracle agrees with a 9 out of possible 100, and call that a strong yes. That they are headed toward one of the precursor vaults. Now the question becomes, which one? Because we've established there's 2 in the system. There's one down on Glimmer that is thus far has been largely unassailable thanks to the lichen, fast-growing lichen that covers up all the area around the precursor vault. It's been I envision this somewhat like that big goop stuff on that one dead planet that Paladin figured out a way to sort of drive back. It's like a quote-unquote naturally occurring thing that seems to have been built up in some way, shape, or form to sort of cover the vault. And then there's the one in orbit around Last Hope that apparently has some kind of perception filter around it. which we've also been able to pierce when K's around. So they have a captured K, which means it's possible that they suddenly realize there's this flipping in orbit right above this planet. So it's right there. It's easily accessible. Versus the other one is more of a known situation, but it's unpopulated. I feel like it's even odds. They don't have to deal with the government of Glimmer or the people on Glimmer interfering, but they also know the thing, and they know, maybe they've done some research and they know what's there on Glimmer. It's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other. There's pros and cons to either one of them. So I'm going to say there's a 50-50 chance of it being one or the other. So the way I'm going to phrase this is, are they headed to Glimmer's precursor vault or the one in orbit above Last Hope? A yes is Glimmer. A no is the one in orbit around Last Hope. A yes is Glimmer. That is a 10. Again, strong indication, heading straight for Glimmer. Now, my result on the gather information, as we already said, was that the information provides new insight, but also complicates the quest. I think that's pretty clear. I mean, we're headed into a situation now where there's this planet. We've got forces on the ground that are quite powerful in the form of Comortian, who sort of a crime entity on Glimmer, who is kind of controlling areas outside of the dome cities and has been sort of poisoning the whole bloody planet trying to get their access to this thing. So heading that direction is going to be a real problem. I mean, honestly, that's complication enough, I feel, based on the gather information. So we know that they've headed back to Glimmer, and we know they're probably heading back to the Precursor Vault. And Paladin's like, I say, it's like, can you get over there and see if you can find out anything else? I'm probably gonna need some help to get K back. It's like, are you really gonna go after? Yeah, hell yes, I'm gonna go after him. Yeah, can you head back with the shuttle? I'll come with the ship soon enough. I've got the cloak. I should be able to get there with no problem. Well, how do you know the ship's gonna come up? It's gonna come up. It'll be fine. All right. So I head out of the shuttle. Thanks for everything. I really thank you. All right, Earl. I think I understand. Yeah. I wish I did. And I head back over. Earl heads back over the ship, and the shuttle takes off, and we head back in there. And I walk back in, and this kind of crunch of the gravel as I'm walking on this salt flat planet. As I walk back up the gangplank and into the side of the ship, and then kind of come up into the thing. And I'm in the cargo bay, heading back up towards the bridge. And I walk in. The lights are all kind of dim. Zeb? Are you there? Yes, Earl, I am. Why are we on Last Hope? How did we get here? The last thing I remember was coming out of the drift in the system. I understand how we're in the system, but why are we on Last Hope? And where's Kay? My sensors don't show them anywhere on the ship. Yeah, let me get you caught up on that. Are you alright, Earl? Yeah, I'm good. Real good to hear your voice, bud. It's just real good to hear your voice. Listen, we're gonna go into a bit of a dangerous situation. I gotta do some upgrades to the ship here, and once we got that sorted out, we're gonna head back over to Glimmer. Kay's in a bit of trouble, but we're gonna get him back. Alright, Earl. So what happened? And we're gonna just cut away from that while we kind of explain everything. And the next thing that we see probably is Earl setting up I'm not buying an asset or anything for this because I did do the check your supplies kind of deal to get that stealth module. Let's look at what that move lets you do. Under check your gear. When you check to see if you have a specific helpful item or resource, roll plus supply. On a strong hit, you have it and you're ready to act. On a weak hit, you have it, but you need to figure something out. And in this case, we ended up with a weak hit. It's not quite right. It causes a complication or delay. I was kind of implying that it was going to cause a complication, but from a story point of view, I think it makes more sense that this caused delay. Waiting for Paladin to find the right kind of module for a ship of our type took several, if not many, extra hours, and that's what delayed us getting back to the planet and increased, basically allowed Meridian to get there ahead of us and do that other kind of stuff. So we've got the module though, and I don't think I need to. I think that this, for the purposes of this, what this specific helpful item or resource lets us do essentially is get over to Glimmer without being detected by the blockade. It's not perfect, it's not great, and it's probably, I'm going to say, like, engaging the whole thing. It's a big power drain. It's probably somewhat incompatible system. It's a kludge at best, and Earl would have to do a whole lot of extra work to make it more friendly to the system. But for now, at least, it's fine. Theoretically, I could add this module and get stealth tech. I may consider that in the future, but for now, we basically get a one-shot where it just kind of works. Anyway, just kind of curious about that. It's worth noting that it's out there. All right, so we see the ship kind of fade past these, sort of this glimmering shadow kind of fading past the blockade, and from there coming down into what was the name of that? We had done something here for the name of the W City 3, and I just credit where it's due. Back over here to this. I just want to give credit where it's due. Art for this really awesome bridge is by I'm gonna say Spiros Karkavalas, who does concept art for quite a lot of science fiction stuff. You can find there, just do a search for their name out on the internet. You can find their stuff. This is one that was available on their old blog site. So hopefully they're still making art. This one's obviously very great and perfect for envisioning kind of what I was thinking of here. So just wanted to give credit to the artist there. And back over on the Glimmer, where we're again back over at W City 3. We've sat down and kind of hidden ourselves up here. By this point in time, Zeb is suitably distraught about what's been going on, and we come back in here, and as I'm coming down off the gangplank, as and the ship is kind of chilling out, and the gangplank is coming down, and I'm just kind of still staying in the gangplank, and Paladin and what's her name? Asana are kind of waiting there at the bottom of the gangplank, and Paladin's face kind of tells a lot of the stories. Like, they're already outside the city. They're already heading for the precursor vault. They're heavily armed. Lots of all their defenses up. They're expecting some kind of problem or some kind of conflict or interference. There just isn't a lot I'm going to be able to do to help out with that. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I don't need you. I need her. He says, kind of pointing at Asana. She goes, what are you talking about? I don't do corporate espionage. No, you don't. But you're a thief, and I need to steal my friend back. Can you help? And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to take I think, let me just look at what all we've got going on here with Earl right now. So I have already a progress track for, I can get rid of this one, thankfully. That's cool. I figured out the other thing there. We already got rid of fighting out the space crabs. I have a vow. Oh, this one might be useful. Stop Kimura Shim's attempts to kill Glimmer's precursor Lycan. Find a safe place for KO3 and get them home someday if possible. So I already have a quest to do that. That's fine. I don't think I have any progress stuff going. I don't right now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set up a expedition, basically, to get out to the precursor vault on Glimmer. And we're going to make this one, I don't think getting out there is the main thing, so I'm not going to make this a big challenge. I'm going to make it troublesome, but I need to get out there stealthily. I need to get out there, easily as possible. So we're going to take, I need transport that's going to help me get across there as much as possible, and I need breathers, that kind of stuff. I need help with that, but aside from that, I'll just have to make it up as I go along. I can't take the ship. I can't take Zeb, so I need you to keep the ship under wraps and, keep Zeb company as much as you can. Paladin kind of rolls his eyes, but yeah, we're going to have to go get Kay back on our own. Will you help? Asana's like, I never met this thing that you've got in the spacesuit, but yeah, sure, I'll help. I like stealing stuff, and I love stealing stuff from corporates, so sure. All right, so we gather up all of our stuff, and I am going to roll at least one sort of secure an advantage here ahead of time to get some equipment together and just basically make all the preparations that we can. Do I want to try to sojourn? Maybe sojourn feels like it's kind of a spend time recovering. I don't think so. Finding a moment of peace, though. I'm willing to do a heart and roll here to roll heart. So when you socialize, share intimacy, or find a moment of peace, roll heart, or hearten rather. I'm going to roll that. I don't know if having contacts really helps me with that, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to give myself any bonuses on that. I'm just going to roll heart, hope for the best. Well, or I'm not in a place where I can get comfort. They try to comfort me and it just doesn't work. On a miss, you take no comfort and the situation worsens. Let's pay the price. A new enemy is revealed. We have the scene where we're trying to get preparations together. We're trying to make all this stuff kind of work out. And I'm going to say it's about a 50-50 chance that the enemy is Kimura Shen. That they now know about this situation and they're going to be doing something about it, regardless of, they've been apprised of the situation. They're aware that I might be around, and they're going to keep an eye out for that. So I'm going to say it's about a 50-50 chance it's Kimura Shen, and it's about a 50-50 chance it's something a lot less predictable than Kimura Shen. So 50-50, is it Kimura Shen? Yeah, oh, barely. That's a 50, right on the money. Yes, it's Kimura. That a new enemy is revealed, so Kimura is going to be fucking with us on top of everything else. That's fan-freaking-tastic. So, I'm trying to take comfort from this. I'm trying to take comfort from Paladin's words of encouragement, from Asana being there, from having a plan, from having supplies. We'll say Dex even kind of gets involved in some of this, and manages to get some stuff together. Oh no! I'm going to reach out to Dex I'm going to reach out to Dex. If you recall, Dex is Dex Freeman. They're a Port Authority person who also, like, sort of is a criminal. They do a little bit of smuggling and stuff, but they are the ones who've been trying to get me involved in this whole thing against Kimura Shen. I go to them for some help because I want to see if they've got any way of getting me over to a closer port city without being involved in this. We'll say I radio to them ahead of time, ask for their help, and they're like, yeah, sure. I heard there's been a little bit of some things going on around here. Just be careful before you get over there. And when I get to them and I meet up with them where they told me they've got 7 colors of hell beat into them. They're not dead, but they are very badly beat up. And when what I'm able to get from them from Dex is that they somehow knew that I had been talking with them and they tried to get information about where I was, and they didn't not tell whoever was asking them. They wouldn't not tell. They gave them false information to lead them away because they knew I was probably coming and they wanted to get it away. So they broke, quote unquote broke, but they basically told them a lie to get them away. But that's how I find out that Kimura is, like, involved in this whole thing, because Dex gets the living shit beat out of them. And now I've got that on my conscience. Okay, awesome, great. And Paladin's like, you couldn't have known that was gonna. You know what? I couldn't have known it was going to happen, but everybody that's been helping with this has been suffering. Everybody that I'm around is suffering. And he tries to tell me, it doesn't matter right now. Let's just go. I'm going to go. Thank you for your help. Asana, are you still, it obviously isn't going to be safe. I'm in. All right. And I am going to set out on an expedition here, man, this is rough right now. This is rough. Can't recover. Everybody's getting whooped up on. No, not adventure moves. Exploration moves. We're going to undertake an expedition to set out across the trailblazing route through or journeying over hazardous terrain. I already gave it a name and a rank. And we are going to try to keep under the radar by rolling plus shadow on the strong hit. So we're going to roll plus shadow, and I don't think I have any bonuses for this, but I'm going to check my assets really quick. Under fugitive, when you make a move by hiding, concealing your identity, or fleeing from a pursuer. Yeah, I like concealing your identity. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we're going to go out as, like, what would be the kind of thing that they would do out here that people would be leaving the Dome City for and doing this kind of just going out into this terribly crappy world. Let's go down to character roles. Let's see what we got here. Miner. What would you mine on? Something with the lichen. Like they're lichen miners? Don't even know what that's about. We dress like that though. I'm picturing something like sort of a nasty, toxic world version of like how people have to dress in Nausicaa when they go out amongst all the spores and stuff like that. So just like totally face covering, the goggles and the head covering and all this other kind of stuff, just head to toe, total skin covering and stuff like that. And so we're going to do this and add a +1 modifier because we are actually going to be, we're pretending to be somebody else just to get away from the city and look perfectly unremarkable about this. And that is still a miss. Every single thing about this is working against me right now. That is still a miss. 5. Wow. Against an 8 and a 7. So, undertaking an expedition with a miss. You are waylaid by a crisis. Arrive at a waypoint to confront an immediate hardship or threat. Do not mark progress and pay the price. I'm going to roll, but I have a pretty good idea what this is probably should be. Equipment or vehicle malfunctions. Part of me wants to go with, like, we get out and we're not very far away from the city before we get hit with some kind of ambush. Oracle indicates equipment or vehicle malfunction. So it could also be that, like, whatever, like, sort of speeder bikes that we've got, something for, fast overland transport or whatever, that acts up and leaves us having to deal with that nonsense. But, I mean, what the hell? My dice have been so bad lately. Let's just lean into it and also do some, let's do, like, you know what? We've had everything point at this. They know that Kamorshim's involved. They beat up Dex. They know I'm coming. We sneak out of the thing. The sneak doesn't work. Logically, the thing that comes from that is they find us and they attack us. So we're going along and we're, kind of coming around and we're looking, we come around and we start to come over a rise that's going to open out into a big open, plain that's going to let us really open up the thing. And blaster shots start landing around us. We have to immediately veer off and get behind rocks and stuff and just dive off. And we're both like scrambling. We're like pulling out like what weapons we've got and trying to see where we're at. And all of a sudden we hear like through this like area and stuff like that, some big voice, the shooting kind of stops. It's like, and just where do you think you're going, Earl Baxter? And we're gonna stop there. This has been a tough session. Thank God for the fugitive thing. I might need to be pulling that fugitive card a couple more times to actually get through this. But for right now, yeah, that's where we're going to go right now. We're pinned down and we have to deal with what's going on right here. So probably some more coming soon. But for now, that's what we got. This is a lot. Thanks as always to everybody who's watching and commenting and stuff like that. I have been able to do some other Starforged gaming, played another couple of sort of mini sessions with my kids. That's been great. We're doing a fun thing there where something cosmic and horrible and vast and unknowable is messing with their heads. And when at certain times they've been swapping back and forth between their Starforged selves and iterations of themselves that are best expressed with Ironsworn. So we're literally swapping back and forth between sort of exactly parallel storylines that some of it is Ironsworn and some of it is Starforged. That's been pretty fun, and I think we're going to have some opportunity in the next couple of weeks to also go back to the other one that I'm doing with some of my friends from TikTok, the consequences of our own actions, and get some more stuff going on there. So still a lot of Starforged, but I'm glad to be getting back to Earl and Zeb, and I'm glad that Zeb is okay, and I'm looking forward to see what happens next. Talk to you all soon.